Alright, what's up guys? It's King and I'm back with a DFFOO JP video. And in this video I'm just gonna show off Enna Kros a little bit in the current SHINRYU. This is the Aranea intertwined wheel SHINRYU, and originally I wasn't gonna do commentary for this video because I feeling a little under the weather, so if you hear me coughing and that, I'm fine, just coming over a little cold. But this one someone asked me to do it, so I said yeah, I'll do it. Enna has asked me to do it, another member of Dissopia, so I had to do it. But anyways, let's talk a little bit about Enna Kros. Not sure that's how you pronounce her name, but hey, I'm gonna stick with it. She's coming up soon in global. A lot of people are actually excited for her. So I'm gonna just talk a little bit about her. As you can see throughout the fight, use her in the current SHINRYU, and show you that hey, if she's a favorite, she can still be used. You build the right team around her. But Enna Kros, in my opinion, honestly, is probably one of the most selfish DPS units in DFFOO. The only utility that she really offers is a holy and dark in peril, but she only enchants herself with her buff. She only has one buff, and the buff has some stats of brave attack, the enchant, holy and dark enchant. She puts on the debuff. I believe she has dark and holy and peril, but she only enchants herself, so it's pretty selfish unless somebody in the party is a dark or holy user. And honestly, when most units are like that, they imperil their own element anyway. So I think she has a small debuff down, but really won't see much effect from that, to be honest. As far as her attacks go, she's a unique character. I say that. Her S1 you really only want to use to refresh her buff, but her LD refreshes her buff. So her S2 is it hits kind of hard. That's mostly the skills you'll be using. Her S2, her EX, and her LD. She only has 3 uses of her LD. But her LD and her EX actually grant her 2 stacks of her overhead buff. And the overhead buff allows, when she uses either her S2, EX, or LD, it starts off when the Gundam comes out. She summons a Gundam, so that's mostly the reason why people want her, why I want her, why I pull for her. She summons a Gundam, and when the Gundam comes out, it starts at the max brave cap. So that actually allows it to hit pretty hard. She actually does hit pretty hard. I would say that. The only problem is she doesn't always hit pretty hard because her EX charge is so slow, and she only has 3 uses of her LD. You might find yourself using her S2 or even her S1, and those don't hit as hard as her EX and LD. Her LD is a single target attack, but it does a lot of HP dump, so it actually hits pretty hard. Her EX hits both enemies, and it hits pretty hard. But with this team, there is some ways you could, kind of alleviate the problem of her slow charging EX. Because you could use a call. I think the Shout call. I don't have Shout, but use the Shout call. It automatically charges the EX. And once you actually use the EX, it allows the EX comes back a little bit faster, not a ton faster, but a little bit faster once you use the first EX ability. You can use Lude. What? Y'all know what I'm talking about. To also charge her EX. That'll also help. Another thing, with this team, I use the behind me summon. The reason I use the behind me summon because when you summon him, he grants you, I believe it's a buff, and it automatically charges the EX for 2 turns, so that way you can get more damage out of Enna Kros, especially with force. Because when you have a force ability, she actually hits hard. She doesn't have a force yet. She doesn't even have a force enhancement yet. So she's gonna get that soon in JP, and I'm hoping they fix her overhead buff, because like I said, her LD and EX grants 2 stacks of her overhead buff, but anytime you take an action, it reduces the stack. So in theory, she's only granted 1 stack at a time, and she has a max of 6, and it's very hard to get the 6. I don't think I got the 6 to this fight. Honestly, I wasn't even worrying about her stacks in this fight because it's a pain to manage. I would say that off the back. It's a pain to manage. You will probably see, but I wouldn't say she's a bad character. It's some of her design is bad. In a shorter fight with this team, Aranea is carrying a lot of the damage, and we have Luna Freya with her buffs and auras and HP damage cap up, so it doesn't allow the fight to carry on. So Enna Kros actually holds her own, but when you get in a longer fight, remember you only have 3 LD uses. Now the LD has a 20% chance to charge her EX. If her EX is charged, you want to use it. I'm telling you that now. You want to use it because in theory, you really only want to be using her EX and LD, but you only have so many uses of it because those are the hard-hitting attacks. When you're doing the other attacks, you're gonna see a major difference. Like her S2 hits hard because it doesn't summon the Gundam Omega something. I can't remember his name, but it still doesn't hit as hard as the EX or LD. So those are the attacks you, especially when the force ability is up. When someone has their force ability up, you really want to use those attacks. But other than that, yeah, I think she's a pretty cool character. She has some great animations. I say at least the whole Gundam thing. So that's the reason why I put those animations on. Top tier. But yeah, I think what I would say is don't. How can I word this? Don't expect her to carry a team as far as in the DPS department. The thing is, she has the potential to carry a team in the DPS department, but the way her overhead buffs is set up, she won't be able to do it long enough in the fight. If she's the only DPS on the team, you would need some other form of damage. Even if it's a support that does a lot of damage, like Hope can do a lot of damage if you have his force, get it charged up, and use the EXLD, bounce off with that. But yeah, using her as a sole DPS, it'll work for a while, but honestly, it'll fall off. But other than that, yeah, she gets a bad rep, but like I said, it's just my personal opinion. I think she's very selfish, and she can do the damage and be that selfish, but they need to fix her buffs. They honestly probably need to make it to where she doesn't drop. I think they did that with Kieran before, where he doesn't lose the stacks. But yeah, I think that's one of the things they need to do. And also, I forgot to mention, it just popped up in my head. When she uses EX and LD, these are the attacks that you want to use. The only issue is these attacks actually have a low turn rate, which means that she actually delays herself when she uses these attacks. So with that being said, I mean, it sort of helps because then she can last longer in the fight. But at the same time, that means a lot of the turns are being taken by other characters. So if you can use Rim to alleviate that, but then if you keep pushing her up in the turn count, you're gonna run out of the LD, and that will also hamper your ability to get the EX. So yeah, it's some things they need to fix, but if they tweak her a little bit, she actually would be a good character, because honestly, I was surprised. I didn't use her for a while. I stopped playing JP for a while, and I never thought to use her, but I saw she was coming up, so I said, okay, let me try to use her. And actually using her, she hits pretty hard, especially when the force ability is up. She's doing like 8 million damage per target, which is a lot, even in the force SHINRYU area, whichever you want to call it. But Other than that, yeah, I think long as you tamper your expectations, you should be happy with this character. Another thing I want to talk about is her armor. This another thing I want to do. She goes from 20%, like 0 out of 3 armor. I'm talking about the max armor. She goes from 20% HP damage cap up to, if you blew her, 45% HP damage cap up. If you want to use her, I think it's best that you blew her armor, because that is a big difference. 24% between 0 out of 3 and blue 3 out of 3, I think is definitely worth it. So if I was you, I would definitely blew her armor if you want to invest in this character. But other than that, you probably have your opinions of her already, but I just wanted to give my take on it and then show you and then SHINRYU. But other than that, yeah, it's your boy King, and I'll holler at y'all later.